Hi guys, just a reminder that this video was made possible by iVideo and the Pocket Wi-Fi, so have a look on their site and get 10% off with the code PANZER. Welcome back you guys and welcome to Kyoto, where we are going to have a look at two department stores like Super Kids Land and Yodobashi Camera. So sit back, grab a drink and enjoy. Kyoto doesn't really have any huge hobby shops, and most of them are almost all on the outskirts of the city and only can be reached by car. But there are two department stores that I recommend you visit in your trip to Kyoto. So first department store we are going to have a look at is only a 3-minute walk from Kyoto Station. Yodobashi Camera has a huge toy section and one of the biggest scale model sections I have seen in Japan so far. It pretty much has everything and almost every kit you can think of. I bought several Star Wars Bandai kits here because they were 20% off, and this is quite often the case in any department store I have been to. They often have discounts and are cheaper and have more deals than a smaller scale model shop. They also had a deal on Tamiya kits and several were priced off, so I highly recommend you come and have a look at this department store. From Yodobashi Camera you want to go back to the station and take the metro to Super Kids Land, or take the bus. I took the bus and it turned out to be cheaper and easier to find your way. Joshin Super Kids Land is not as big as Yodobashi, but they have a good selection of scale model kits, RC, anime figures, Gundam and terrains. I highly recommend you check out Super Kids Land if you can find one. From Yodobashi Camera is a 25-minute walk to BS Hobby and Hobbyland Pochi. Hobbyland Pochi is a small hobby shop that's more focused on trains and has only a few model kits. BS Hobby has a lot more and also at a good price. I only wasn't allowed to film in both shops. But I recommend you check out BS Hobby if you have the time. There are also other hobby shops in this general area like Yellow Submarine, but they don't seem to have any scale modeling, so don't waste your time. From Super Kids Land you might want to check out Hobby Square Kyoto. Hobby Square can be reached by bus and you need to walk back to the main road, back to the metro station and take a 20-minute bus ride. If you're in doubt where to get out, try to pinpoint your location with Google Earth. Kyoto Hobby Square is mostly focused on trains, and they have a huge train set up in the main hall, and a huge collection of trains on sale in their store. The second floor focused more on other scale model kits, and they also have a huge collection of dioramas on display. Sadly, I wasn't allowed to film those dioramas because of privacy policies of the owners of those dioramas. What is also highly surprising is that they have several parts of real World War II planes, like the engine and propellers of a Focke-Wulf 190, a Spitfire and a P-51, and the landing gear and wheels of a Zero and a Bf-109. So if you're really into planes, trains and dioramas, I highly recommend you come here to check it all out. The next day I went to Osaka, and the first thing we went to was the third Mandarake I visited in Japan. Mandarake is a second-hand store that mostly sells manga, figures and vintage toys, but most of the time they have a large section of scale model kits. Of course, being second-hand doesn't mean that they're always really cheap, because that all depends on the condition of the box and the rarity of the kit. But after the one in Akihabara, this is probably my favorite Mandarake store in Japan. I really enjoyed seeing all the old vintage toys and searching through all those model kits, so I really recommend you check out this Mandarake if you're in the neighborhood. I probably need to mention that Osaka also has a second Mandarake store named the Grand Chaos Shop, and it's located 25 minutes from this one. Even though they have a lot of vintage toys, they don't have a lot of scale modeling, so I only recommend you go here if you have time to spare. From Mandarake, it's an 11-minute walk back to the Osaka station to check out another Yodobashi camera department store. And this is probably one of my favorite department stores in Japan. It has a gigantic model section that has pretty much everything from 12 meters of shelves filled with Tamiya kits to 25 meters of shelves filled with Gundam kits. They have it all in a huge scale. It pretty much gave me nostalgic memories of me as a child going back to the big department stores in the Netherlands when they had huge toys and scale model sections. And I highly recommend you check out this Yodobashi if you're in Osaka. From Yodobashi camera you can take the metro to Namba station. This will take you 5 minutes and then you have to walk for another 17 to Folks Hobby. Folks Hobby mostly sells anime figures, but this one also had a lot of scale model kits. But they were really overpriced, and the only reason I would go here again is for the collection of dioramas they have on display. Of course, I wasn't allowed to film these dioramas because of privacy reasons. From Folks Hobby, it's a 2-minute walk to a much better store in general, another Joshin Super Kids Land. This one is a lot bigger than the one in Kyoto, and it also has a lot of deals and a Tamiya world on a separate floor, and everything is dedicated to Tamiya. And because this is also a Tamiya store, it's cheaper than normal, so I highly recommend you come here. Sadly, we're almost at the end of this list, and I have a few honorable mentions that I want to share with you guys. The first one is Shizuoka Hobby Square, which has a whole display and showroom from several companies, including Tamiya and Bandai. They also sell some kits in their shop. The next honorable mention is Nakano Broadway, and this shopping mall has something for everyone. It's mostly focused on old vintage toys, but also has again a Mandarake, and this Mandarake has a lot of scale model kits from Tamiya. There's also another scale model shop that you might want to check out here. So Nakano Broadway is really a place you guys want to check out when you are in Tokyo. But that's it for this series of videos. I hope you enjoyed watching them as I have making them, even though it took me a lot of work and time and the extreme heat wave that swept Japan took a number on my camera. I had a lot of sweaty warm fun doing these, and if these videos do well, I will probably do a Dutch version the next time. So thank you all for watching and I will see you in my next video.